Hello and welcome to News Round, a recap of stories in the week. I'm Teniola Shoboale. The headlines. Appeal Court in Abuja asked parties to maintain status quo in matters concerning value-added tax collection. President Muhammadu Buhari asked striking health workers to opt for negotiations as a means of settling issues in the sector. Forensics company says cartridge casing from NSAS protest is of the same caliber as Nigerian Army's live ammunition. Plus, the Taliban announces a new Afghan government as fighters fire warning shots at protesters in Kabul. That's News Round in View. News Round begins in Abuja, where the Court of Appeal has asked the Rivers State government to suspend the collection of value-added tax, pending the hearing and determination of all legal disputes related to it. The order emanated from an appeal filed by the Federal Inland Revenue Service for a stay of execution of the judgment of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, which gave Rivers State government the power to collect VAT. The legal fireworks over the collection of value-added tax births at the Court of Appeals as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, files for a stay of execution of the judgment of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. First, the Lagos State government files an application to be joined as a co-respondent in the appeal. The Lagos State Attorney General told the court that it was in the best interest of justice and fair hearing that the state be made a party in the suit. In its ruling, a three-man panel led by Justice Haruna Samani specifically ordered all the parties in the suit to refrain from taking any action to give effect to the judgment of the lower court.
The Federal High Court in Port Harcourt had given some far-reaching judgments. Now, we have approached this court to say, stop the effect of that judgment until you hear our appeal. Unfortunately, we could not argue that today. Now, the issue is this. Because our application has not been heard, should the court allow Rivers State to start collecting tax, even though we are telling this court to say, hold on, until we are heard? So the court is now saying, well, we have not heard them. Until we hear them, no decision can be taken one way or other. But everybody should hands off. Hold on. Don't effect the judgment of the Federal High Court until after we have heard them. If we agree with them, fine. If we don't agree with them, then you can go ahead. So it will last until we move our application for injunction. So that's just the position.
The case has been adjourned to September the 16th, 2021 for hearing of all pending applications, including the request by the Lagos State government to be joined in the matter. Meanwhile, the 36 state governments are asking the federal government to refund over 176 billion naira, being proceeds of stamp duties between 2015 and 2020. This is among the relief sought by the attorneys general of all the states who have dragged the Attorney General of the Federation to court over alleged failure to remit stamp duties proceeds into their accounts. In the suit filed before the Supreme Court, the state attorneys are asking the court to determine whether or not they are the sole authority to administer and collect stamp duties on all transactions involving individuals and persons within their respective states. This also comes as the chairman of the Joint Tax Board, Mr. Mohammed Nami, seeks the active participation of the subnational level in boosting tax revenues from stamp duties and personal income taxes.
Do I need to do this? Is there any risk?
This meeting comes up just as state governments are approaching the courts over the federal government's alleged failure to remit funds generated from stamp duties into state accounts.
Why should I be compelled to stamp.
Members of the Joint Task Board, comprising of heads of revenue boards from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, have converged on this hall to discuss ways of enhancing revenue generation.
I welcome you.
The board chairman says all are obliged to now focus on the collection of stamp duties as well as personal income tax to boost their revenue.
Stamp duties has for a long time been a stone that was rejected by the builders, and before our very eyes, it is becoming a cornerstone in the annals of revenue generation in our country. So much that other non-tax entities have sought to encroach into the territory of tax administration just to savour from the new gold of revenue generation in Nigeria.
An analysis of tax generated from individuals in South Africa and Kenya shows that Nigeria is still far behind and needs to catch up. In a move that may please the state governments, tax administrators and experts are seeking an overhaul of the current Stamp Duties Act to boost revenue collection as well as improve collection.
Stamp duty cannot go on the same item that VAT is also going for, so as to reduce the multiplicity of taxes in Nigeria. That is areas that we are looking into, and we also specify on who is supposed to pay the stamp duty. These are areas that the acts that we have currently did not take care of.
There is a definite need for immediate reform of that law, specifically who is supposed to pay stamp duty. Okay, what is the timeline for payment of the stamp duty? What are the instruments that are really relevant for stamp duty right now?
Government at all levels have been at the forefront of improved revenue generation recently. Various stakeholders consider this new drive to delve into other forms of taxes as timely, and improving revenue generation capacity is welcome.
To other stories now, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, for his commitment in providing quality infrastructure and security for the people. The president, who was speaking while inaugurating some projects executed by the Uzodinma-led administration, says the governor has proved beyond measures to be competent. He also held an interactive session with members of the region where he addressed matters of succession, infrastructure, unity and elections.
The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and his counterpart in Ebonyi State, as well as the Abia State governor, represented by his deputy, gather at the Sam Bakwe Airport in Owerri to welcome President Muhammadu Buhari. The guard of honor is mounted for the president. Jubilant Imo indigents line the roadsides to catch a glimpse of the president. The president then moves in for the business of the day. From the commissioning of a newly constructed road, he moves to commission the balloon technology drainage tunnel at Dick Tiger. Governor Hope Uzodinma gives reasons for the investment in infrastructure.
The construction of the Egbada bypass road, which takes traffic away from the traffic city. Those who are moving from Onitsha to Olu and the Idata axis of the state and vice versa have no need to enter Owerri capital city with this bypass. That is also what the Chukwumawanha road is doing for those coming from Umuahia and heading to Mbitolu and the Ikedru axis of the state.
President Buhari, in his speech, commends Governor Hope Uzodinma for his giant strides in infrastructure provision, given assurances of the federal government's support for the state.
I have seen enough that justifies his integrity in making sure that he is working very hard to make sure that you get the structure necessary for you to build often. I'm very impressed with what he has done because I have gone through the same problem at the center to make sure that infrastructure is what will enable the people to mind their own businesses. If there are no roads, if there is no security, what can people do? Absolutely nothing. I am very pleased that by some fabulous coincidence, my idea and that of your governor coincided.
The president also commissions the newly reconstructed executive chambers at the Government House. Before his departure, there was a closed-door meeting with some notable traditional, political and religious leaders from the southeast, who include the Obi of Onitsha, Alfred Achebe, former Foreign Affairs Minister Ike Nwachukwu, former Vice President Ebitu Kiwe, former Senate President Ken Namani, as well as some serving governors, ministers and federal lawmakers, all from the southeast. At the meeting, matters of secession, infrastructure, unity and elections were brought up and addressed by the president.
We are going to do the roads, we are going to do the rails, and we are going to stabilize power. We will try and secure the country so that Nigerians can mind their own businesses. If there is no security, there is nothing anybody can do, no matter how much he tries or how much initiative he has. I try to make sure elections are free and fair. Make sure you honestly and practically educate your constituency and you ask for their votes.
The memorable day ends with presentations of recognition to the president, hopefully signaling the beginning of unity the president preaches.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has asked striking health workers to opt for negotiation no matter how long it takes, as a means of settling issues rather than embark on an industrial action, which he says is not the best action to take. The president made the declaration when he received members of the Nigerian Medical Association at the State House, underpinning the danger of protracted strike and withdrawal of services, which could potentially result in loss of lives.
In a step that may be considered as a point of concern, President Muhammadu Buhari meets the leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association at the State House in the face of the industrial action by the National Association of Resident Doctors. The president looks at the issues through the lens of negotiation.
I use this opportunity to call on all health workers to return to their duty posts, and I ask others contemplating strikes to opt for amicable settlement of issues by negotiations, no matter how long it takes. The lives of citizens that could be lost or damaged while doctors withdraw services are precious enough to justify a peaceful resolution of differences.
He is aware that the nation's health sector has not been the same. The president, who has full understanding of the 12 points demands by the workers, underpins that all debts owed will be settled.
I request that the agreement reached in the meetings on the 20th and 21st August, as captured in the MOU, which I have seen be rigorously implemented. This administration has a good track record of paying all debts owed to government workers, pensioners, and contractors. And we have even revisited debts left by past administrations once due verifications is done.
Increase in budgetary allocation in the nation's health sector is among other efforts by the federal government the NMA is appreciative about.
Your keen interest in immunization and improvement of immunization coverage in the country and overall turnaround of some of the nation's health facilities, the Saving 1 Million Lives project, the empowerment of different health agencies and parastatals are worthy of mention.
The 40-day-old industrial action by the National Association of Resident Doctors has received several interventions and pleas by the National Assembly. The President's request is expected to set the tone for a speedy resolution to the matter and potentially an end to further disruptions in the nation's healthcare system. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The testimony from Sentinel Forensic Limited at the Lagos Judicial Panel of Inquiry into Police Brutality states that the live ammunition presented by the Nigerian Army is of the same caliber as the cartridge casing submitted by the panel. The forensic company was engaged by the Lagos State Government in December 2020 to conduct a forensic review into the incident at the Lekki toll gate on October the 20th, 2020. The forensic report also says that the authenticity of the video evidence tendered by the Lekki concession company could not be determined owing to a lack of access to its servers, but extensive visual examination shows that as to time, frame and pixel, the videos do not show any signs of being doctored.
Is admitted and marked to be big.
It's the 122nd sitting of the Lagos Judicial Panel on restitution for victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters. And the focus at these proceedings is the long-awaited forensic report from the Lekki toll gate shooting of October 20, 2020. On the 29th of December 2020, the Lagos State Government had engaged Sentinel Forensic Limited, a private company, to conduct a crime scene investigation, examine the Lekki concession company's CCTV footage, and give digital expert opinion on the recording of the incidents, as well as any evidence recovered during the visit of the panel to the scene. A director of the forensic company, Joseph Funshoako, compared the evidence submitted, and this is the findings as to the ballistics.
The Nigerian Army submitted 4 ammunition. 2 of them were 7.62 by 39 millimeter caliber, and that was the live one and the live that hadn't been fired. And 2 of them were 7.62 by 51 millimeter caliber. They are both different. You have 7.62 by 39 millimeter ammunition. 1 fired, and this was of the live kind of ammunition. And 1 was a live ammunition that was not fired. Then you have blank rounds that were tendered. 1 of those blanks was fired, and 1 of those blanks was not fired. And the blanks that were tendered were 7.62 by 51 millimeter, which is quite different from 7.62 by, yes. The summary really is that the blank ammunition submitted by the Nigerian Army is not designed to be fired by the rifles that fired the live rounds.
On the video evidence submitted by the Lekki concession company and the investigation of the crime scene, the forensic expert gave this analysis.
For the digital evidence, the authenticity of the video evidence tendered by LCC could not be determined as we have no access to the servers from which the source recording was made. However, during extensive visual examination of the captured footage, because we reviewed the footage frame by frame, the evidence, that's the footage given to us, did not show any signs of being doctored. So the time frame and the pixel were consistent, suggesting that the integrity of, suggesting to the integrity.
The panel has adjourned till Saturday, September 11, to give lawyers in the matter an opportunity to study the forensic report so that they can cross-examine the expert witness on his findings. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
Nigeria has received about 1.2 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. The executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency explains that the vaccines were procured by the federal government through the VAT platform, which is coordinated by the African Union.
This is the weekly briefing on the progress of the second phase of the COVID-19 vaccination exercise in the country by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Executive Director of the agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, gives an update on how many people have received the vaccines, including with the resumption of the administration of the Oxford AstraZeneca brand.
As of 6 September 2021, a total of 3,600,858 eligible Nigerians have so far received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. This is made up of 2,551,738 persons vaccinated with the AstraZeneca vaccine and 1,049,120 persons vaccinated with the Moderna vaccine. The decision to reopen the AstraZeneca for first dose administration is hinged on the fact that we received an additional 1,394,480 doses of the vaccine through the COVAX facility.
He explains why some people still get infected even after vaccination.
Where such rare cases of COVID-19 infection occurs in individuals who have received the vaccine more than 14 days prior, it is called breakthrough infection. The observation is that in these individuals, the disease is usually milder than those who are unvaccinated. Vaccination prevents one from severe disease, hospitalization, and death.
According to the World Health Organization, about 26 people die every hour in Africa during this third wave of the virus, while about 272 million doses are needed to meet about 10% of each country's needs.
Today, at the global level, we still see shocking inequities in access to vaccines. More than 5 billion vaccines have now been administered globally, but almost 75% of them have been administered in just 10 countries.
The steady rise in cases from the Delta variant in Nigeria over the past week is prompting health authorities to harp on the importance for eligible Nigerians to get vaccinated while adhering to all protective measures.
Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cornwall, has been announced as the first patron of the Mirabelle Center, a sexual assault referral center based inside the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Ikeja. Officially commemorating the event was the British Deputy High Commissioner at the center in Lagos.
Founded in 2013 as a sexual assault referral center to provide free, holistic, high-quality medical and psychological services to survivors of sexual assault and rape, the Mirabelle Center has handled more than 6,000 such cases in Nigeria, managed by Partnership for Justice with the cooperation of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, security agencies, the Lagos State Government, the media, and the British Council. The Mirabelle Center has carried out its work from this small structure within the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Too small, in fact, to hold today's crowd. Hence, the movement was a bigger hall. That is about to change, as the hospital is offering to pull it down and build a bigger one, while continuing to provide access to free healthcare services for survivors.
We're looking forward to the building that was proposed, and we believe that that is going to ensure that they even provide a bigger volume of service to the entire citizenry of Lagos State.
The British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador Ben Leoling-Jones, who is here to commemorate the announcement of the patronage, says Her Royal Highness Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, is eager to take on the role as it expands her campaign to help women who survive domestic and sexual violence.
She really hopes the patronage can help elevate the profile of the Mirabelle Center, get still more people to come forward with financial support, get still more victims to come forward, because there are so many people out there who need help.
Founder of the Mirabelle Center, Itoro Eze Anaba, is appreciative of the Duchess of Cornwall's patronage, which she hopes would provide relief from some of the challenges.
The stigmatization continues. There's a low level of prosecution. The victimization in the community also continues, because at times the alleged perpetrator is a celebrity, is a rich person, or is a known person.
Domestic and sexual violence remains a major issue in Nigeria. The Duchess of Cornwall has personally commended the Mirabelle Center as a trailblazing organization whose virtual work means that women no longer suffer in silence. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
Now, news round ends in Afghanistan, where the Taliban have announced an interim government to be led by one of their founders. Making the list is an FBI wanted militant as Interior Minister, Sirajuddin Haqqani, who has also been named head of the militant group known as Haqqani Network. The new government will be led by Mullah Mohammed Hassan Akhund, with Taliban co-founder Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar as deputy. And that's News Round this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shibuale. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.